Hello everyone, welcome to Jumbo IS. So today will be the day 9 of Geography MCQs and today's topic is your Indian monsoon. So all the concepts related to monsoon, all the factors which are affecting in Indian monsoon like El Nino, Tibet Plateau, La Nina, ENSO or Indian Ocean Dipole, Madden-Julian oscillations. So all these things will be covered through these MCQs so that monsoon is covered comprehensively. So let's start with the MCQ number 1. Consider the following statements regarding the term monsoon. So first of all, it is derived from the Arabic word mosim. Yes, this is very correct statement, which refers to the seasonal reversal of winds. So monsoon is just the seasonal reversal of winds. If in one season the winds are moving in this direction and in any other season they are moving in this direction, so that is called monsoon. If the changed direction of winds, if they are bringing moisture and are responsible for rainfall, then it is complementary. So monsoon is not directly related with the rainfall term, it is just related with the seasonal reversal of winds. Those winds can be moist laden or they can be without any moisture. So statement number 1 is true. The term was first used by British explorer to describe the rains in Gangetic Plains. No, they were not responsible for its coinage because Arab traders were responsible for this term because they described that there were rains in the Gangetic Plains because they were mostly traders in India and they're responsible for the horse trades and any other commodity as well. So statement number 2 is wrong because British explorers were not there to first describe this term monsoon. In a broader sense, it refers to the rainy season in tropical and subtropical regions. Yes, not just India, it is also present in Indian subcontinent where Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, these countries are present. Okay, so yes, in a broader sense, it is rainy season in tropical and subtropical season regions. So first and three are right. So how many of the statement above are correct? Then answer will be your B, only two. Next is with reference to differential heating of land and sea. We know that land and sea are differentially heated because of the difference in the specific heat. Land has very less specific heat and water has the large amount of specific heat. So consider the following statements. During summer, a high pressure cell forms over the Indian landmass due to rapid heating. If this is your Indian subcontinent and this is your Indian landmass, then at this area, because specific heat of land is less, this area will be rapidly heated up because we're talking about the summer season. So if there is high temperature, then high temperature leads to ultimately the creation of low pressure, and water has ultimately low temperature with respect to the Indian landmass, and that is why it has high pressure. And wind always move from high pressure to low pressure. Winds will go from Arabian Sea to ultimately this central Indian part. Okay, so it is not high pressure cell, it is low pressure cell. That is why this statement is wrong. The pressure gradient between Indian Ocean and Tibetan Plateau drives the moisture laden winds. Yes, we can talk about this central India as well. We can also talk about Tibet Plateau because Tibet Plateau is at a very high height, and that is why it is very heated up in summer and it becomes very cold in winters. Okay, so that is why the difference between temperature of Tibet Plateau and Arabian Sea and ultimately the pressure gradient between these two areas are responsible for arrival of moist laden winds from Arabian Sea to this Indian landmass. So statement number 2 is right. So which of the statement given above is correct? Then answer will be your B, 2 only. Next is which of the following best describes the shift of winds during the onset of monsoon? It is basically your southeasterly trade winds crosses the equator and turns right due to Coriolis force. Basically what happens is, if we talk about onset of monsoon is around June and July and August month. So if we talk about June, in June the ITCZ has shifted northward because we know that pressure belts shifts with the shifting of sun. So ITCZ was earlier at 0 degree equator, but with the movement of sun, it has gone to ultimately this Indian landmass. So this is your ITCZ. This ITCZ is responsible for the convergence of two trade winds. So trade winds are coming from 10 degrees south and your 40 degree north. So when these trade winds are coming from 10 degrees south, they are reaching to the equator. And because in southern hemisphere the Coriolis force is responsible for the leftward deflection, they are deflected towards left. But whenever they crosses the equator, they will turn rightward, and ultimately they will become your southwesterly trade winds. Earlier they were southeasterly trade winds because they are coming from the southeast direction, and after crossing the equator they have become southwesterly trade winds. Okay, so yes, southeasterly trade winds crosses the equator and turns right due to Coriolis force and ultimately go to ITCZ. That is why we say that it is nothing but this seasonal reversal of winds, or because the ITCZ has shifted northward in summers and it has moved downward below the equator in winters. Okay, so that is called your shifting of wind. So answer option is your the option B is your answer. So this is all the diagram. In summers ITCZ is in the around Indian area, and in winters it is beyond the equator, it is below the equator. Okay, so these were southeasterly trade winds and ultimately they crosses the equator and became southwesterly trade winds, and hence responsible for bringing the southwest monsoon. Next is, consider the following statements regarding the ITCZ during summers. ITCZ shift northward, yes, and is positioned roughly parallel to the Himalayas in Indo-Gangetic plains. Yes, if this is Himalayas, ITCZ is like this area. Okay, so it is roughly parallel to the Himalayas. This shift is also known as monsoon trough. Yes, the monsoon trough is the area where it is low pressure area, and all the monsoon or the moist laden winds will come to this area and will be responsible for the rainfall. So it is also known as monsoon trough. The ITCZ is a region of intense high pressure where trade winds diverge. No, the name itself suggests that it is the area where trade winds are converging with each other, and it is a low pressure area because it is present in those areas where there is the presence of sun, and due to presence of sun the temperature is very high, and because of the temperature the pressure is low. So it is not high pressure, it is intense low pressure area where trade winds converges. So first and second are right. So option A will be your answer. Next is, how does the Tibetan plateau influence the Indian monsoon? First of all, it acts as an enormous heat source in summer, creating a thermal low pressure. Yes, the as we talked about that central India and Indian landmass has a very less specific heat. In summers, it will be rapidly heated up. So that is the same case for Tibet plateau as well. So as it is at a very higher height, around 5,000 meter, so it is basically near to the sun. The intensity of sunlight is too much in that area, so that is why temperature is too high. So if temperature is too high, then pressure will be very low, and it will act as a vacuum, so it will attract the winds from all the directions. So yes, it acts as an enormous heat source in summer. Yes, it is physically bifurcating the subtropical westerly jet stream in winters. Yes, we know that in winters, as the thickness of troposphere decreases and these jet streams are blowing in upper tropopause. So tropopause height will also be decreased. So they will ultimately reach to the height of these Himalayas. Okay, so these Himalayas, or basically the Tibet plateau, so ultimately, it physically bifurcates subtropical westerly jet stream in winters, and also the Tibet plateau and Himalayas both are responsible for their bifurcation because latitude wise they have decreased and altitude wise they also have decreased in height. Okay, so yes, in winters, the subtropical westerly jet stream will be bifurcated by Himalayas and by Tibet plateau both. So one arm of subtropical westerly jet stream will move to China as north-south tropical westerly jet stream, and north subtropical westerly jet stream, and one arm will ultimately move to Indian area. So that is why we receive winter rainfall, because these southern subtropical westerly jet stream are bringing depression from Caspian Sea and Mediterranean Sea. So yes, statement 2 is also right. The rising air above the plateau contributes to the formation of tropical easterly jet stream. Yes, we know that if we talk about Tibet plateau, if this is your Tibet plateau, this is the surface of Tibet plateau and this is its upper atmosphere. So here is the high temperature. So high temperature ultimately leads to what? The low pressure area, and as all the air molecules, dust particle have moved to the upper atmosphere, there will be the creation of high pressure. So we know that during at the low pressure the winds are converging, but as they are coming towards this low pressure area, because of the Coriolis force and its rightward deflection, a kind of anti-clockwise movement of air has been emerged. Similar in the case of high pressure in the upper atmosphere, because this is the high pressure and winds are diverging away from this area. So as they are diverging, because of Coriolis force and the rightward deflection, because of that it is moving in the clockwise direction. Okay, because high pressure the winds are diverging away from this area, and because of Coriolis force they are deflecting towards right direction, and that is how this is your clockwise movement around high pressure area. And at this high pressure area, at the upper atmosphere, subtropical westerly jet stream is blowing. So as this wind is blowing, and this is a kind of fan which is rotating the winds in the clockwise direction, it will use some winds to make another wind which will be your tropical easterly jet stream, and some amount of jet stream, some amount of wind will be thrown back to India from east to west direction. And as it is blowing in the tropical area, it is called tropical easterly jet stream. And as it is present in the upper atmosphere of upper atmosphere or tropopause, it is known as jet stream. So this jet stream was formed because of Tibet plateau and associated high pressure area or clockwise movement of air in the upper atmosphere. Okay, so that is how subtropical westerly jet stream is responsible for the creation of TEJ, and it is responsible for again burst of monsoon and many other things that we'll see in the next MCQs. But yes, the rising air above the plateau contributes to the formation of TEJ. So all these three statements are right. So option C, all three is the answer. Next is consider the following statements regarding the tropical easterly jet. It is a surface level wind. No, these are upper atmospheric wind coming from the upper atmosphere of Tibet plateau to ultimately upper atmosphere of all Indian subcontinent, and it is blowing in this direction. This is your Tibet plateau, this is your upper atmosphere, so upper atmosphere and ultimately coming to Indian area like this. So 5 degree north to 20 degree north is the area, is the latitude where this tropical easterly jet streams are blowing. So this statement is wrong because these are not surface level wind, they are called upper atmospheric wind. It is established only after the western jet stream has withdrawn from the North Indian plains. This is known as western jet stream. No, it is basically called south subtropical westerly jet stream. This is basically blowing in the winter season, which is responsible for winter rainfall. So as it has moved away from these northern plains, then ultimately summer has come, and because of the summer the Tibet plateau has become too hot, and because of that hotness of Tibet plateau, this TEJ is formed from subtropical westerly jet stream. Okay, so it is established only after the western jet stream has withdrawn from North Indian plains in winters. So winter has basically gone and summers are basically approaching. A strong TEJ is generally associated with a good monsoon. Yes, TEJ is very, very responsible for the good monsoon. And how is it so? As we know that this is your Indian area, this is your Arabian Sea. Okay, so I'm not making Arabian Sea like this. Okay. This will be your Indian area, this is Arabian Sea, this is your Bay of Bengal. So just a second. This is your Tibet plateau. This is the upper atmosphere of Tibet plateau. This is your high pressure area in summers. This is Arabian Sea. At the surface, it has what? It has very high pressure, because as we compare it with the Indian landmass, it has a very low pressure because of high temperature, as and water has a less temperature, and that's why it has high pressure. So if we talk about the upper atmosphere of Arabian Sea, so we know that at uh, above every high pressure there will be a low pressure, because the winds have come downward from this low pressure to ultimately make this surface high pressure. So every low pressure has high pressure above it, and vice versa. So this high pressure area is responsible for the TEJ. This TEJ is going from this Tibet Plateau upper atmosphere to Arabian Sea upper atmosphere. Arabian Sea upper atmosphere, that is the area where these winds are approaching. And as this is the low pressure area, winds are coming from every direction as well. So TEJ is also basically towards this low pressure area. This is your surface area. So this low pressure will ultimately send these winds to this high pressure area because it has nowhere to go. From all the directions in the horizontal manner, every wind is coming towards this low pressure. It cannot go upward because of the gravity of the earth, so that is why all the air molecules will go downward and making this high pressure more high. And as the pressure gradient is more, if the difference between high pressure and low pressure is more, then the speed of the winds will be more. So if high pressure has become more high, then the speed of the wind will be more, and they will take more moisture with them, and there will be more rainfall, and there will be good monsoon. And that is how TEJ are responsible for the good monsoon, because they are supplying winds the to the low pressure area which is above the Arabian Sea upper atmosphere. So upper atmosphere is basically providing winds to the surface, and that's how this high pressure has become more high. Okay, so that is why statement 1 was wrong, 2 and 3 was right. So answer is your B, 2 and 3.